Have you ever thought that the most dangerous moment of a flight is not always in the sky? That sometimes after the plane has done everything right, after it has crossed oceans, after it has reached its destination, disaster still finds a way. Today's story is about a flight that did not explode midair, did not fall from the sky, and did not disappear from radar. This plane almost landed safely and yet it was destroyed. This is the true story of British Airways Flight 38. The date was January 17, 2008. British Airways Flight 38 was traveling from Beijing to London. The aircraft was a Boeing 777, considered one of the safest planes ever built. On board were 152 passengers and 16 crew members. Nothing seemed unusual. The weather was stable. The aircraft systems were normal. The pilots were experienced. It was supposed to be a completely ordinary flight. But sometimes the most dangerous problems begin quietly. As the aircraft cruised at high altitude, something unseen was happening inside the fuel system. Tiny ice crystals were slowly forming inside the fuel lines. This was not a known issue at the time. No warning lights, no alarms. The plane continued flying as if nothing was wrong. Passengers slept. Cabin crew served meals. Pilots monitored normal data. But deep inside the aircraft, a silent failure was developing. After nearly 10 hours in the air, Flight 38 approached Heathrow Airport. The runway was clear. Visibility was good. Air traffic control gave landing clearance. The pilots began their final descent. At this stage, no one on board felt fear because landing is usually the moment of relief. But that relief never came. Just seconds before touchdown, something catastrophic happened. Both engines suddenly lost power. Not because of fire, not because of pilot error, not because of mechanical destruction. The engines were starved of fuel. The ice crystals inside the fuel system blocked the flow at the exact moment when maximum power was needed. The plane began to lose speed. There was no time, no altitude, no second chance. Flight 38 fell short of the runway by just a few hundred meters. The aircraft struck the ground violently. The landing gear collapsed. The engines broke off. The fuselage tore open. Inside the cabin, panic erupted. Passengers screamed. Yet something unbelievable happened. Despite the violent impact, no one died. Several passengers were injured, but every single life was saved. This was due to the pilot's calm decisions, the crew's training, and the aircraft's strong design. What could have been one of the deadliest accidents in history became a lesson instead, but one question remained. How did a perfectly functioning plane fail at the very last moment? The investigation, searching for the truth. Investigators immediately began their work. The black boxes were recovered. The engines were examined. The fuel system was analyzed. At first, nothing made sense. The Boeing 777 had no history of this type of failure. Then slowly, the truth emerged. Investigators discovered that during long-haul flights in extremely cold temperatures, microscopic ice particles can form inside jet fuel. Over time, these particles accumulated. During landing, when engines demanded more fuel, the ice blocked the fuel-oil heat exchanger. Fuel flow dropped suddenly. The engines did not fail, they were starved. This type of failure had never been fully understood before. This crash shocked the aviation world because there were no warnings. Pilots had seconds to react. The aircraft showed no prior faults. The failure occurred near the ground. If this had happened just a few moments earlier in the air, the outcome would have been catastrophic. After this crash, aviation rules changed globally. Boeing redesigned fuel systems. New filters were introduced. Cold weather testing standards were updated. This single accident made flying safer for millions of people. Sometimes disasters do not destroy lives, they prevent future ones. Many passengers later said, "We thought this was the end." Others said, "The ground came too fast." Even years later, some survivors cannot talk about that day without shaking because survival does not erase fear, it only leaves memory. This story teaches us something important. Not all disasters happen in the sky. Sometimes they wait until the plane is almost home because the most dangerous failures are not always loud. They are silent. And sometimes a plane doesn't crash while flying. It crashes after it has almost landed safely.